Praise the Lord, everyone. So today, we're going to be meditating on Job 35 to 37. So me and Shruti are going to be doing that together. So welcome, Shruti.
So in the start of Elihu's lecture to Job, he's saying the right thing. He's just teaching Job, but by the end of chapter 37, he starts getting angry at Job, and then he starts lecturing him. But in the start of chapter 36, verse 4, he says that he has perfect knowledge, which obviously isn't right, because the only person in this world who has perfect knowledge is God. And now Elihu's trying to bring himself to God's level, because this is like the the fifth or the fourth chapter of him lecturing Job, and obviously his ego starts to grow, but not his mindset. So obviously it's not 50-50 balance. And then so he starts to become hypocritical, because the only righteous way of getting mad is being mad at oppression. But Elihu got mad for his own selfish ways of Job not being able to understand. And then that was him getting unrighteously mad and being hypocritical upon himself.
Yes. So we all know that when Elihu came into the scene at chapter 32, he came with anger. And then he goes on to, as Shruti said, talking about it's okay to be righteously angry, but not okay to be unrighteously angry. But then he becomes unrighteously angry and becomes very hypocritical. And it just shows, he probably didn't know this, but it was just a lot of lack of self-awareness from Elihu. And because of that lack of self-awareness, it wasn't helping Job in any type of way, nor it was helping his reputation about the person that he is. So I think, number one, the first reflection point is, as Christians, as followers of Christ, as born-again believers, is to become self-aware. Transformation cannot happen when we're not self-aware about our characteristics, our attributes. And it's an example, and it's a lesson that I learned firsthand when I was at university, on a self-awareness journey of literally writing things down on how I react to certain things, so that I can examine, what is the difference between what I want to be and who I am actually. And when I did go on that journey, that's when true transformation started to take place. So the first reflection point is, be self-aware. Go on that journey with God so that real transformation can take place. So that when times come where we need to advise other people, we know to say things rightly. Number two reflection point.
So basically, coming to the end of Elihu's lecture, his ego has become so big to the point where the key points that he has said correctly about God, it has no meaning now, because he's trying to bring himself to that level where he's not worshipping God, but he's trying to get people to worship him, and it's just not right. And then his words now practically have no meaning. And then obviously, as he's lecturing Job, it's there's no point. He's just wasted his own time, because Job doesn't really answer back to him throughout his lecture, and then he's just going on. But this lecture slowly starts to become more pointed in his direction instead of God's direction in the end, and it kind of just shows how quickly people can adapt to hatefulness, because he realized, wow, what I'm saying is good, and then he kind of became full of himself and about him, and it wasn't correct.
I think 100% as human beings, we try to put our own reasons for a certain situation happening the way it does. We are problem solvers. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but in this case, it was bad because they truly didn't know why Job was suffering, and they were bringing some crazy assumptions. I think it was more useful for Job, when we first read in the first two chapters, they came and sat with him silently for 7 days and 7 nights. I think that was more useful to Job than them trying to find a reason, trying to fix why why he was suffering, because they truly don't know. We're all human beings, right? We don't know. And that's what I think Elohim eventually goes wrong, and that's where his friends went wrong eventually as well. So another lesson here is sometimes, when a friend is in need, comfort is more than what they might need than just trying to fix the problem and assuming what they're going through. Okay, thank you for listening, and we hope that you enjoy our reflection video. Shabbat shalom.